Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The Black Ops 7 beta is now, of course, fully open for everyone. And as you're going through and leveling up your operator, getting some of the exclusive beta rewards, unlocking new weapons, you're obviously going to want to try out some of the better options or mess around with some setups where you can get some more kills and hopefully, ideally, go for some nukes, drop some streaks, things of that nature. And so today, wanted to go through and break down the top 5 best weapons and class setups you want to be using in the Black Ops 7 open beta here. So first up, let's talk the other elements of the class setup beyond the weapon, wildcards, secondary perks, equipment, things of that nature. Throughout the beta, for the most part, I've been experimenting a lot with gunfighter. Getting 8 attachments on weapons this year, especially with how they've redone some of the attachments, is just really nice because you can kind of kit weapons out to be insanely versatile. Some guns really need extra range to feel like they are thriving, but then you also might want some control. You also might want some mobility to make them more versatile. And with 5 attachments, you are a little bit limited. Plus, with the wild cards here, only having overkill limited to 5 attachments, perk greed limited to 5 attachments, and not having something like specialist for perks or something available yet, I think gunfighter is the clear and obvious go-to just simply for getting kills and trying to frag out and be the top of the lobby here. As far as the secondary goes, I really haven't messed too much with the pistols, quite frankly. If I get a kill on somebody, the first thing I'm doing is switching to my secondary and picking up their dropped weapon, whatever it may be, so that I have sort of like a makeshift overkill, kind of like a on the fly primary and secondary there. For my field upgrade, I've been spamming active camo here. Being invisible is fantastic, I gotta say, because no one sees it coming, basically. And when you can go through and you can overclock it, so gunfire only temporarily reveals you, you can go back invisible after you've gotten 1 kill and, relocated. It's so strong. So I've been loving that. Stim shot with the combat performance overclock for a movement speed boost is also huge. I gain my health, I get that speed boost. I've been breaking cameras left, right, and center with this. Feels so good to just play hyper aggressive with that. And then I use the Semtex with the high density explosive overclock for improved lethality there. Nice, just as a solid, strong, lethal option. For me, I've really been defaulting towards Enforcer here, going for 3 red perks, just because the boost here that you get, the bonus after each kill, gain a buff to movement speed and health regen for a short amount of time. This COD, I feel like, plays so good, and I really find the most success when I'm in that flow state of movement, when I'm tethering slide cancels into wall jumps, into sliding around corners, trying to break cameras. Like, that's where I found the most success. And getting that speed boost and then also getting the health regen boost is so huge. So I've been going for 3 red perks. Lightweight in perk 1 for the better movement speed. You can jump, slide, and dive further, and you get faster diving and sliding recovery as well. Looper in perk 2, I've just been going for a lot of streaks. I run non-lethals personally. Scout pulse, UAV, counter UAV, just trying to go for some nukes and whatnot. And being able to get more than 1 streak in a life is huge. I've tested around in some other stuff. Hunter's Instinct is cool because it does show you on a radar like the little red arrows towards where enemies might be, but it's not giving you exact precise locations. And it sometimes I found myself kind of hard focusing too much on the minimap, so I wasn't too huge on that. Fast hands would be my other alternative here, just for the faster weapon swap and reload and whatnot. That's pretty solid where you can have it as well. Dexterity in perk 3 is a must have, so you can ADS when you're sliding, when you're diving, when you're wall jumping. You also take less fall damage, which is nice. That's a crutch. This just should be like the default movement in the game, in my opinion. And of course, 3 red perks gives me the Enforcer bonus there. That's pretty much the same on all the classes here today, with the exception of one that we'll mention towards the end. But now we can just focus on weapons. And first up here, I've got an updated M15 mod 0 setup from the original beta class setups I did. This one even more versatile as I've used it more, leveled it up more, gotten all of the most ideal attachments here. So with gunfighter, you can make this thing be a phenomenal SMG AR hybrid. You can make this thing good for long range as well. Like, it is so versatile, so fun. I think the irons are super clean, so I just rock the default ones there. I do like the Redwell compensator, just helping out straight up with vertical recoil control. Makes the gun a little bit more predictable and easy to use. I go for the fusion barrel as well. Better damage range, better velocity. This is the hybrid barrel, of course. So the better velo, great. Gonna make the gun feel like it's hitting a little bit more consistent. And the better damage range, self-explanatory, gonna be even more lethal over the mid to long range there. The iron hold underbarrel is huge. Better aiming, idle sway, and steadiness as you're walking. Better horizontal control as well. It's gonna just make this thing feel laser accurate, which is super convenient. I do go for the first extended mag here, gonna up it up to 45. Extended 2 here, you don't get till towards the end of leveling, and it's gonna slow down your ADS, your sprint to fire, your reload. Not a huge fan of that for 15 extra bullets in multiplayer with this TTK. 1 extended mag is gonna work just fine. I also go for the Peregrine grip, or the Peregrine grip. better ADS speed, straight up, just making this thing a little bit more snappy and aggressive. I love the Wander 3v stock. Pretty much on all my builds, I go for the aim walking movement speed stock. The better strafe speed here just makes you so much more aggressive and agile in your gunfights, and it helps out a ton in my opinion. I also love the 3 milliwatt motion strike laser. You get better damage range and better recoil out of a laser sight. Really helps just make this thing more aggressive and you know, versatile as well, so you can still fly and fry up close, but then laser beam over long range. And then recoil spring is going to help out even more with that control. So this thing is one of the easiest weapons to use. You factor in the clean irons, even at, you know, some of the longer range distances on head glitches and whatnot, you can still pick players off very easy. One of my favorite guns in the game, if not my favorite gun in the game so far. Next up here, I've got the Ryden 45K. Last week we covered the Dravik, one of the other SMGs, and that of course got some slight nerfs with the in-season or in-beta update, I should say. Still a good SMG, but the Ryden's TTK is insane up close. This is an SMG that doesn't have as much mid-range play maybe as a Dravik, or even what's our other option here, the Razor is what that one's called. But up close, I mean, this thing, it just melts. And with 8 attachments, again, with Gunfighter on here, you can really fly and fry with this thing. I'm not as huge on the irons in this case, so I do go for the Lethal Tools ELO. I love this ELO sight. It's absolutely going to be my go-to optic pretty much the entire year, I can already tell you that. The Hawker Series 45 compensator, again, just helping straight up with vertical control, so it makes the gun easier to use. There is a lot of noticeable recoil on this thing, especially horizontally, so I like to counter that where I can. Being that it's an SMG, I gotta rock the long barrel for the best possible damage range, give us that fastest TTK out to the best range we can get. I also go for the Flow Guard foregrip, which is horizontal recoil control and some sprinting movement speed. If you want to go all in just on horizontal control, you can use the lateral precision. That'd be a fine choice as well. But I like to play as aggressive as possible, if you can't already tell throughout my perks and everything. So to me, the Flow Guard is the way to go here. I do go for the first extended mag yet again. 40 rounds at this rate of fire is going to work. I do find myself reloading a lot, but again, I don't really want like the slowed down ADS speed and sprint to fire on an SMG here, especially in how quick gameplay is this year. To me, 40 will be just sufficient for most fights. I also go for the Lennox grip for the better sprint to fire. I've kind of been bouncing around here. The Eruption grip for the better ADS and slide to fire speed is also huge. If you want just faster ADS, you could go for the XS. Really, any 3 of those I think are going to be pretty solid, all things considered here. Just a matter of what is most important to your style of gameplay. The Ventral stock, going to help out that strafe speed as mentioned. Absolutely love this. And then lastly, yet again, recoil springs, so important for that horizontal control, but then getting more vertical is always a, you know, nice benefit to have as well. But this thing, like I said, it melts up close. Not going to be as efficient in the mid-range, so you do got to play more aggressive. Luckily, with this perk setup, the stim boost, everything you got going on, it's very easy to play up in the enemy's faces and just melt them. And by the way, as we're going through all the different weapons and setups here today, if you guys enjoy the video, you find the information helpful, do me a favor, drop a like. It's always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to make sure you are always up to date with everything going on in COD, no better place than right here, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Next up, we've got the MAA1. They did slightly nerf this thing as well in the beta, but it's still an absolute beast. Probably my favorite ranged weapon in the game exclusively. This is not one you're really running a ton of up close and personal because it is a little bit slower, a little bit more passive, if you will. But man, over range, this thing just is a laser beam again, especially with 8 attachments on here. So once more, I got that Lethal Tools ELO. Love the look and feel of this thing. We got the RL556 break, which is better first shot recoil, kick, reset speed, which is nice on a burst weapon, then vertical control as well. That's feeling really solid there. Frontline barrel is going to again be the hybrid option here. Better range, better velocity. Iron hold under barrel once more for the better horizontal control. Basically just makes this pattern straight vertical, plus the better aim locking, steadiness, and sway is always a nice bonus on there too. I just go for the default 32 round mag. That works fine for me. Instead, I go for the G7 launch grip, better first shot control. If you really just want to laser beam with this thing, that's on option, or instinct grip for the faster ADS. Either or there, just depends on how accurate you want this thing to feel. Swift line stock, love this yet again for the better strafe speed, no surprise there. 3 milliwatt motion is back for that better damage range. Insane on a gun like this. It just makes it feel like you can one burst at basically any range. Then recoil springs, why not make that recoil as easy as possible? If you wanted to go overkill, you could use overpressured ammo as well. Not super necessary in multiplayer like this, but still an option nonetheless. But yeah, this thing is so much fun. Reminds me a lot of that classic M8 where you could just fry everyone at the 1 to 2 burst kill at basically any range. Following that, we've got the Peacekeeper. This is probably the most aggressive rifle setup that I've got. This thing, much like the mod, plays like an AR SMG hybrid, although this thing to me does also feel really consistent, especially in like the mid-range area. Really like the feel and the overall aggressiveness of of this thing. And of course, it's the Peacekeeper. It's a classic weapon in COD here. One of my all-time favorites. Yet again, an all-time favorite already, the lethal tools, the ELO on there. I actually don't use a muzzle in this case. I opt for recoil springs instead, just to help out with the horizontal and vertical control. For the most part, this thing's pretty easy to use for what it's worth. I do once more go for the hybrid barrel, better range, better velocity on there. The quick step foregrip for some better movement speed just makes this thing really aggressive. Again, if you wanted to go for better control across the board, you could use something like a lateral. You could use something like the Sentry Pro for the better horizontal control as well. I just liked the mobility that this was adding in, though, for me personally, and I'm pretty comfortable with that recoil control as is. Vulcan extended mag here, 40 rounder, working fine. The rapid lock rear grip for the better ADS makes this thing more aggressive and snappy. The Vagrant 93 stock, better strafe, no surprise there. Again, I got the agile barrel in this case. It's the same thing as the 3 milliwatt, but it's doing the better damage range and recoil stabilization just under a different name. Makes it more versatile and aggressive. And then, as mentioned, the recoil springs on there too. You could really, quite frankly, though, build this thing out in a lot of different ways. If you want to opt for just long range efficiency and go for the long barrel, go for a horizontal control under barrel and a compensator, you could rock that too. But for me, I like the hybrid sort of aggressive play style here, especially with some of the maps that we've got in the beta. This thing just performs really, really well. And then lastly here, I've got one setup that differs a little bit. It's actually my sniper setup where I do use perk greed. I still stick with lightweight, looper, and dexterity, but I add in fast hands here for the faster swap speed and whatnot. Really plays well with a sniper, and quite frankly, I don't think you need 8 attachments on a VS Recon, but this thing hits. I feel like I wasn't getting hit markers with this thing. Now, I'm not the greatest sniper in the world, but this thing, especially when you're quick scope and you're in that flow state, oh, it just feels so good because you're one-shotting everybody here. So first up, I do go for the Nimbus barrel. This is the short barrel. It's not going to hurt your damage, your range, your velocity, anything like that, but it's going to speed up the ADS and just make this thing more snappy and aggressive. I do go for the stable heavy pad stock for the better flinch resistance. Just makes life a little bit easier here, quite frankly. I got the dash line speed mag for better ADS and a faster reload, which is huge. The R1 shelf grip for a better ADS speed, and then the 1 milliwatt instinct laser for a better ADS as well. So basically, this is just an all-out quick scoping build, super aggressive here, and it plays really, really well in my opinion. But that being said, these are 5 absolutely phenomenal weapons here. Of course, last week we covered a little bit more like the Dravik and whatnot, but these are the ones that are standing out the most to me right now. That is going to wrap things up for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button on your way out to guarantee you're always up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.